Hello and welcome to Figure Feedback, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Eradicator action figure. You can find this popping up in Walmart stores right now for the standard price of $19.99. Now this is not the Eradicator from Reign of the Superman. Instead, this is a DC Rebirth version of Eradicator, which is why he looks different, but that's okay. Let's take a look at the back of the box, see a little bit of that artwork there. Very nice indeed. But now we need to take this out of the box and see how good this figure actually is. First, let me show you everything that you get with this figure, starting with the collectible card. Now, all McFarlane DC Multiverse figures comes with one of these, but good thing about this card is it has actual artwork of Eradicator and not just a picture of the figure. So I really do like it whenever they use actual artwork. And then as usual, the back of the card has the data file, the biography of Eradicator, so you can read up on him in case you're unfamiliar with the character. And then last but certainly not least, you get a pair of interchangeable hands. These hands are slightly open, almost claw-like in the way that they are, and they have paint on the fingers. So that is all that you get with this particular figure. And even though this is Eradicator and he can fly like Superman, unfortunately he does not come with a flight stand. It would have been really great to have that, just like it would be great to have it with all Superman figures, because some of them do. Now let's take a look at the design of Eradicator, all the way around 360 degrees, and this paint on him is looking pretty good. I especially like the shiny black paint that is on his skin, you know. I love that it's not just a regular matte black. It really helps to make him pop a little bit more as far as contrast is concerned. And the other thing that really stands out about Eradicator as a character are these really cool golden shades that he has on. I love the fact that the paint on these are really clean, and I think that's really important for a character like him, because that is what makes him stand out above other Superman-like characters. He's different because of those glasses. So it was imperative that McFarlane get those shades painted correctly, and they did. And then another thing about all Superman figures that I feel needs to be done right, no matter who's selling it, is the S on the chest. It's got to be nice and clean. You can't have that symbol looking all messed up with paint going here and there and colors blending into each other. The S needs to be clean, and the S is in fact clean on Eradicator, and that is awesome. Now, as far as the rest of him, the costume is, just pretty plain. He's mostly black, and then we have just some blue right there on the front, kind of providing a little bit of contrast as well to that, a little bit more dimension to his outfit. But other than that, it's really nothing to write home about. It's done neatly, yes it is, but it's not the most exciting costume, not the most exciting color combination, I think, for a Superman figure, which is why I prefer the Reign of the Superman version of Eradicator as opposed to this particular one. But since this is the one that we got, this is the one that we have to judge. Now, the other thing that makes him a little bit different is this cape. Now, this is a really cool looking cape. I love the fact that it just sort of drapes to the right. I love that it just sort of looks like it's moving around in the wind, and that really makes dynamic poses look particularly cool with this figure, because he already has a little bit of drama already built into him, built into that design. I think that's really great. You see the wrinkles on the cape providing the illusion of a movement, so that's really cool as well. And it's probably one of my favorite things about this figure, besides the fact that he's Eradicator and the really cool gold glasses, is the flowing of this cape. It's almost Spawn-like in the way that it flows. You see how it kind of just hooks up there on the side? That really reminds me of something that Spawn would have in his cape. So maybe that's a little bit of that McFarlane flavor coming out. All right, so now let's get to the articulation. That's one of the things that we really love about action figures. We want to know, how good can we move this guy? Well, let's find out. If you're familiar with McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, then you kind of already have a sense of how the articulation is going to be. But in case you're new, let me just show you. All right, so the head doesn't move up all that much. You know, this is as high as his head can go. I would have liked for it if his head could go higher, you know, since we're dealing with a Superman here. So I want his head to be able to move up higher, but it doesn't. This is as far as it can move down. Pretty decent down, but not so much up. And then you have a little bit of a tilt, and then of course left to right as you would. Let's take a look at these arms here. I love the smoothness of these arms and the way that you can just position them one notch at a time. And you don't hear a click, so you know it's not like a really hard ratchet, you know, but I love that you have that kind of fine control over it, and then it's just nice and smooth. I'm not too sure what this particular method is called, the way that these arms feel when you move them up and down, the fact that they're not loose, they're not stiff, but they are reassuringly staying in the position that you put them in, all while providing a sort of feedback, like a forced feedback whenever you move it. I love it when McFarlane has figures that do that, because to me, it makes the figure just feel so much better. So now you see we got this nice, easy to move joint there, butterfly joint moving in and out just like that. This is a far back that you can move his elbows, so you pretty much touching his shoulder once you use the articulation in the wrist to sort of hinge it up and down. So you got that ball joint there at the bottom of the wrist, and put that in a little bit. It was sticking out, but so that is the arm articulation. Same thing on the other side. Get yourself the ab crunch, moving them back and forth. Yep, you sure can. Don't want to move them back too much, because then you start to see the gap right there in his waist, and you don't want to do that. So it's probably best to just keep them standing straight up like that, so that you can avoid that gap. And you can, of course, twist side to side. As for the legs, it has that similar feel that the arms do, as far as that reassuring levels of movement up and down. So this is position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you see what I mean by that? I really do like that. And they stay in place as well. As far as that knee articulation goes, let's move it up a little bit and then bend it back. We don't get a ton of articulation in the knee. That side is a little bit stiff, but if you look at this side, that's about as far as we can get it. So the heel of the foot doesn't come up to reach his back or anything like that, so you can't move it as far back as that, but I still think that that is a pretty decent bend at the knee. I definitely think that that's good enough. And then last but not least, when you got the foot here, there's that toe articulation, and then you're pivoting it from side to side if you want to. That's all well and good. As far as how good he can stand on his own, it's fine. Probably not the easiest thing in the world, but as you just saw, I was able to move around the legs and then just position them right back so that he's standing up without falling over. Maybe I just got lucky, but yeah, you don't necessarily need the stand, but I would still recommend that you use the stand if you have the space for it, because it's just reassuring. I once did a video many months ago talking about the figures that I really wish McFarlane Toys would make. And since I made that video, I am so happy that many of those figures either have been released or they have been announced. And Eradicator was definitely one of them. So for that reason, I really do like this figure. It's not the best McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figure that I have. I do wish that more accessories were added to these figures, in particular for Superman characters to have a flight stand. That would have been great. But for $20, I think that this is a good figure to have. It's the gold label. So if you are in your Walmart stores, and maybe if you were having a little bit of trouble finding him in the past, go back and check. Because my local Walmart, that usually doesn't have anything new for months at a time, has this on the shelf. So your time may be here to get him yourself as well. So thank you all so much for watching. This is the very first video for the Figure Feedback YouTube channel. So if you like figure reviews or just like talking about toys in general, be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on your way out. I will very much appreciate it, and I will be back very soon with another figure review. So until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.